Quit nursing, did secretarial college, got a job, then you wake up and decide, I'm not feeling this secretarial role.
I said, next stage, Nairobi. This guy comes up and we got on very well. I went back to my boyfriend and I said, I've just met the man, I fall in love.
Where are you telling your parents you're going?
To Nairobi to live with a man. The problem rose because
Mike falls sick.
30 years previously, he'd given up smoking. You can give up smoking, but it's affected your lungs. As Mike died, I was...
You were doing serviced offices before serviced offices were
Oh,
a thing.
absolutely. 6 offices, 4 we let out.
This is Kenya Post and Telecommunication.
Yep. From nothing to telex, to fax, to this email.
How did you start the holiday side?
People said, I want to go to the coast.
We're used to waiting for our parents to bequeath us businesses. Why not bequeath?
I cannot allow anybody just to take over a business.
One tenacious woman, Heather Boustead, built businesses that became local landmarks, raised a family, a life that doesn't come from just planning, but from doing, from deciding. Messy, risky, totally unscripted, and all abso-freaking-lutely worth it. You did online dating before online dating was a thing. How is it to start dating again now? You're in your 60s.
Just like a sort of deja vu. This person came, so we started talking on
Email. I've known you, Heather, for how many years? For long. I think since, I don't know. I don't. If it was, you ask me, when did I know you?
16 years ago. I was on balloting for 14.
Yes.
So, yeah, about 14, 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was pleasantly surprised to learn that you're actually not Kenyan. I mean, by birth.
Yep.
Because you've been here for so long. I've always thought, and you've done businesses here, I've always thought that you were born and bred.
Why were you pleasantly surprised by that?
That's a very good question. I don't know, because you're very Kenyan.
Yeah.
You know, maybe apart from the accent, but you're very Kenyan in your outlook, Kenyan just the way you operate. So, and the way you've been operating businesses in Langata for the longest time. So I was genuinely surprised. Maybe that's a good point. Why pleasantly, I don't know, but I was genuinely surprised to find out.
When you spent all these years of your life here, 48. Yeah, 48. You're more Kenyan than anything else.
48.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to say age on this podcast, but you don't look it.
I don't look 48 years old.
No, you don't look like you spent 48 adult years. 48 adult years
No, not
in Kenya.
adult, but yes, I mean, I came here when I was, I'm not going to say when then, I was 26.
Yeah, so it's in your adult time.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Actually, a bit longer than 49 years, yeah.
Well, now people will start doing the mathematics.
Okay.
But you've been here for a minute.
Many
a
years.
long Kent minute.
Yes.
Speaking of which, the theme of your life is I just do tomorrow quickly. I know we had the preamble, we had the pre-meet, and I love that quote. I just do tomorrow quickly. Why is there no hesitation in uprooting and replanting your life? Maybe take us back, Heather, to how you ended up in Kenya, and even before that.
Okay. Well, I was brought up just like a proper little English girl, English Rose.
Mm-hmm.
I was brought up in the county of Kent, which is in the southern England. My both parents were doctors, so
Medical doctors,
yep. So, in fact, my mother was at Edinburgh University way before women even got to Edinburgh University. So, anyhow. So I was brought up there and I was expected to follow the routine, go to nice school, go to nice secondary school, be a nice little young lady. So that's how I was going to be, which is fine. And that's how I thought I'd be as well. And so I tried to follow what my father said, do this. So I did. I went to, and I did all the right things. And then one day I thought, no, I'm done with being properly organized. I need to just follow my nose.
And what did you do? So what did you study?
I didn't go to university at all.
Okay, so after high school?
After high school, I went to do nursing.
Yeah.
At St Thomas's Hospital in London. And my best friend and I did it together, and we survived a year. The reason why we survived a year, we did very well, but I thought I will not stay have to go on night duty when all my friends were going out partying. And I'd just been to boarding school, and the last thing I want to do is not party.
This set the scene for us, yeah?
Yeah.
So this is what, London in the swinging
London,
60s,
yeah, absolutely.
early 70s. You know, they say women don't say their weight and their age, so we're not
No.
trying to guess your age.
Early 70s. And the reason why I did nursing, actually, was I had to go live in nurses home. And I did not want to live at home. My father wanted me to live at home and go up and down, up and down. I said, no, I want to live in a nurses home in London.
How far is Kent from London?
Oh, it's an hour train, but I had to. So that would allow me a bit of independence. So that's why we ended up there. We just wanted to open our wings just a little bit.
So, Heather, I'm getting a sense of a little bit of caginess about what was wanting to spread your wings in London, like.
Well, I was brought up so properly in such a proper school that it was all girls boarding school. So you can imagine what I'm saying. I just needed to get out, meet the boys, have a bit of fun. So I then rang my father up, the doctor. I said, I'm really sorry. I've just given my notice in as a nurse. He was furious. He came up to London. He said, so what are you going to do? I said, well, if you're not going to finance me, I'm going to go and sell dresses in some local shop. And he thought, no daughter of mine is going to sell dresses in a local shop. So what else can you do? I said, well, you can pay for me to go to Secretarial College, keep my flat going, and obviously a few allowances here, then. Actually, I do need a car, which I didn't in London. He said, okay, I'll do it all, fine. So that's what happened for the next year. I went to Secretarial College. From then onwards, I got 2 jobs. One was at Lord's Cricket Ground, which was great. And then again,
Lord's Cricket Ground?
Yes.
Doing what at a cricket ground?
Oh, I wasn't playing cricket, although I did. I was the secretary to the secretary of the MCC, which is the Maryland Cricket Club. Okay. So it was a really fun time. It was a good time. But I don't know, inwardly I must have felt a bit constricted. And then just a light bulb moment. I need to just do something different. And I didn't even think about it. So I applied to British Caledonian Airways. And I said,
you do realize from your father's perspective just how flighty you are, and the pun is fully intended. I mean, you've quit nursing, you went and did Secretarial College and got a job at Lord's Cricket Ground.
Yes.
This is all within a year.
Yep.
And then you wake up and decide,
within
2 years, and then you wake up and decide, I'm not feeling this secretarial role.
No. I'm just not feeling, I didn't really, honestly, I don't think I felt anything. I said, next stage. So I just applied for it because I wanted to go and see a bit of the world. Got accepted, and the next 4 years were probably the best years of my existence. They were phenomenal. Because in those days, we weren't like British Airways, which is 24 hours, you landed, slept, carried on around the world. British Caledonian was much smaller. We had lovely little short tartan skirts, which is obviously highly attractive to anybody we arrived in, which is how I got here. For example, when we first came to Nairobi, we had 8 days. And with that 8 days, we stayed at the Norfolk Hotel, please, perfect.
Wait, so you fly from Heathrow to Nairobi?
Well, actually, it's Gatwick. But
it was Gatwick to Nairobi on British Caledonian,
yep.
And then you'd have an 8-day layover.
And within that time, we just did Seychelles there and back, a day trip there and back.
Yes.
And that was it. So we had allowances, we stayed in this wonderful hotel.
For 8 days?
Yeah.
Just shooting the breeze?
And a bit more.
And a whole lot more.
And then, for example, South America, we did a 3-week trip. We flew to Rio, and then within that time, we had to go off to Santiago and back.
Santiago in Chile?
In Chile.
So you really got to see the world?
Got to see the world.
Because you were being given an allowance?
In that stage of my life, I bought a flat in London. Actually, my boyfriend, who I was with at the time, he gave me the deposit for it, which I was very grateful. He got it back, and I'll tell you that later. And so I had a great 4 years of my life. And then right at the end of it, of this time, I was still enjoying it, British Airways took over the Nairobi route from BCAL. BCAL then took over the South American routes from British Airways. And I walked into the Norfolk Hotel on the last day.
This is like mid-70s now.
This is 76.
Yeah.
Yep. The last day, and Kenny Cowboys, as they were. They were just had their last few drinks, actually just had their showers because they got rid of the last BCAL hostesses because who had taken the flight back. And they drew straws. And this guy drew number 4. So I walked in my little miniskirt and I was number 4.
Wait, no, hold on. Break this story down for me.
Right.
So last day of British Caledonia
Correct.
operating Nairobi, Gatwick.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are having a drink at the bar at Norfolk. You and the other air hostesses.
No, I was coming in on the bus from the airport.
So you're coming in from the bus from the airport, land at Norfolk.
Yep.
And then?
And then they were all there waiting for the next lot of BCAL girls coming in.
So these KCs,
Yeah.
them they're having a drink at Norfolk randomly.
No,
So
they were waiting for us.
to do what? You know what? Can answer that question. You know, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm in my 50s. I'm that slow. So they've taken straws. Okay. You'll operate. The 4th chick off the bus.
Yep.
Is for you.
Yep.
Okay. Let's now forge ahead.
And then this guy comes up and chats to me, and I said, hi. He said, we're actually all going to a party tonight. Would you all like to come? So we all went in his car to a party that night, which was great. And I think probably the rest is history.
We're here for the history.
The history.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is Mike.
This is Mike. Yes, he was
Mike Lawrence at the
Mike
time.
Lawrence. He was
Yes.
he was a huge character. He at that stage worked for the vice president, Daniel Arap Moi. He was asked to be the MD of Lima Limited, which is an international harvester tractor distributor, and he was an engineer. Well, he wasn't, but apparently I thought he was. So he at that stage was single, and he was living at the Norfolk because it's cheaper to provide a hotel room at the Norfolk as opposed to have a whole house for one single person. So it was very convenient. He was at the Norfolk anyway. And we got on very well. And I went back to my boyfriend and in
The one
England.
who had put for you the deposit of the flat.
Indeed.
Because he knew you were coming to get married.
No, I wasn't getting married at that stage. I'd just come to the last flight.
By the time he's putting a deposit on a flight, in his mind, this is something very serious.
No, I just gave it to me. It's the charm that did it. Anyhow, I went back to my boyfriend. I said, I've just met the man. I just fallen in love. I mean, it was a good 5 days. That's all I had with him. He said, yeah, I've heard it all before. Which is
You're telling your boyfriend now in London?
Yeah.
I've met a guy in Nairobi. Okay, and his reaction, he's calm,
He
cool.
said, I've heard it all before, which is possibly true, but I don't think he really believed it was this serious. And then Mike actually wrote a letter, which was amazing. You know, in those days you had letters
Yes.
post arrive in London. And he said, I'm actually coming over to go on a trip with International Harvester. I'll come to stay with you in London, come see you in London, which he did. And we said, that was probably it. I think that's it. So I'm going to come out for a month to stay with you to find out how it is. I didn't give my notice to BCAL. I then said I want to go on unpaid leave, which they understood. I came out and it worked very well. We moved into a house and I knew that was it. So then I went back to my boyfriend and I said, now I am getting married. So here,
By this time, he knows now things are serious because you've packed your bags and gone for unpaid leave in Nairobi.
he knows things are serious, but he still thinks he can win me over because he's done that quite a few times. So anyhow, I gave him my dog to say, look after my dog, and I gave him my car.
And your deuce is about, but just keep the dog. And
Keep the dog
car.
because he liked the dog, so I actually love the dog. And I gave him my car to say that's the equivalent of the deposit, so you've got your money back. And I left. That was it.
Now, where are you telling your parents you're going?
To Nairobi to live with a man who I'm not getting necessarily married to, but I'm going to live with him because I fall in love. How well did that go down?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, not very well.
Okay.
Not very well.
Because remember, you went off to sort of nursing, which you quit, then you went to secretarial,
Sounds
which you
awful.
quit, and then you went to do British Caledonian, which you did for 5 years.
4.
Pretty well, 4.
Yeah, yes.
But you met,
I met them. Yeah.
swashbuckling Kenyan cowboy.
Big guy, full of character, everything you want of a person. At that stage, I thought. And then, so I came to live with him. And then 3 months later, it's Christmas. We went back to England, and he then said, would you marry me? I said, yes, thank you. And he said, we asked my father official permission to marry. My father said, yes, it's wonderful, fantastic. We're all very happy you're settling down now, albeit in Nairobi. The problem rose because Mike had been married before, a long time before, and divorced. And in those days, you couldn't get married in white in a church in England, in a church.
You couldn't get married wearing white?
No, you couldn't get married
if you're
in church.
marrying a divorcee?
You can't. You had to go to
the civil marriage.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'm going to go up the aisle in white. I mean, this is it. I'm going to. He said, in which case I'm not taking you down the aisle. You can go back to Nairobi and find a church that might marry you there.
This is your dad now?
This is my dad.
Wow.
Which is so exactly what I did. Found a wonderful little church in Lavington, which was Church of England, Presbyterian, Methodist, whatever. Wonderful vicar. He said, yeah, I'll marry you. So Mike's best friend took me up the aisle and we got married.
So the family didn't come?
My father said, I'm not going to come, but I'll pay for your sister to come. She can come represent the family,
okay.
And she'll be your bridesmaid. So that's what happened.
Wow.
That's what love does.
Wow. And you lived happily?
Lived happily ever after. I lived happily ever after with Mike for 30 years. Yeah. The problem, I didn't realise he was who he was particularly, because after about a year, he said, oh, I've had enough of this job. And he gave it up without any thought for another one. So then I found out what Mike was all about. Tried this, tried that, couldn't be bothered with that, couldn't be bothered with this. But he was an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who cared?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But on the back of that, I thought I really have got to work. You know, I think somebody's got to provide just a few pennies. And unfortunately, at that time, I had a baby. And it was only 7 months, and he only survived 12 hours. So I went into a bit of a depression, you can imagine. I wouldn't meet anybody or see anybody who had children. Came out of it after a bit, and we were talking with a friend of Mike's, and he said, well, you know what you do? You've got a secretarial skill. Why don't you set up a company that goes to visiting businessmen in hotels, takes dictation, and go back? Because there's no such thing in Kenya. So I said, that's a good idea. So I took a wee office on Kenyatta Avenue. I got lease hire for an IBM golf ball, if anybody knows what an IBM golf ball.
No, in fact, does it look like that one that we have over there? But actually, no.
That's an IBM golf ball.
That's the one.
That's it.
Okay.
How exciting.
We'll definitely get
Yes.
the camera to pan in on that.
I set up shop, and we called ourselves Hotel Secretaries, which inevitably, because it's where it was situated and it became the sort of focus for everybody coming to town, it was called Hot Sex.
How did that, you know what, that hot sex?
Hot sex.
Okay.
Well, obviously, Hotel Secretaries.
That's right, of course.
And we had a telex machine, if you know what that is.
No, what's a
Tick,
telex
tick,
machine?
tick, 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 tick. And a little ticker tape goes through. And you take it off and you put it on the next bit, which goes through to somebody else receiving it around the world. I can't believe you don't know what a telex machine is. Anyhow,
and Heather, I'm old, but I just used to hear the word telex. So it's what, like a tape?
It's a tape.
Is it like a Morse code?
Yes, it is very much like that.
Yeah.
And when you've typed it all, you take it off and put it down the other side.
Yeah. And
the other side receives it, a telex machine, wherever else you're sending.
Yes.
And that is really, really modern. We've now gone from a golf ball to a telex machine. And
somebody who would decipher what that code
it comes out wherever you're sending it to, and in writing.
Oh,
so
really?
It's deciphered, yes.
Okay.
So you've got to have telex operators either end to do it.
Okay.
And our code was, we have a number, which is 22992. I have a photographic memory. And it's HOSEX, which is HOSECS, which shows it's come from hot sex. So that was, we are now the only people, I think, probably with telex machine in Nairobi. We're really flying. I then took on 6 offices. 1 was for ourselves, 1's for a receptionist, and 4 we let out to big companies. And they used us as their secretaries. So that basically paid for the rent for those offices.
And these are what, multinationals who are present in Kenya or who are
multinationals.
visiting?
We had the MD of Cadbury Schweppes in. He took 2 offices. He had his obviously over in the industrial area. He had his factory, but he wanted to be separate. So we did all his work for him.
So you were doing serviced offices before serviced offices were
Oh,
a thing.
absolutely. And that's what was the beginning of the idea. We also did, we provided secretaries, temporary, permanent secretaries to companies in Nairobi. So that was just another side. But the bread and butter was definitely serviced offices. And that made the money to pay for all the staff and everything else. And the one thing we did do, we realised that people hated going to the government offices here. It was all a bit difficult. So we employed a messenger to go to the government offices to do those little errands.
Mm-hmm.
And that, in its way, became the beginning of all the messenger services we started doing.
And this is now for the expatriate.
It's for expatriates, that messenger service, yes.
Yeah.
But the companies, no. I mean, the legal companies, banking companies, we provided secretaries for. Temporary, they went out and they took dictation and they came back.
So
and
your
collected.
secretarial course ended up paying off.
Yes.
It wasn't for nothing.
No. Often my father, he'd be very proud of me to know
Exactly.
it's worth doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was very good.
Yeah.
And then somebody came and said, meanwhile, I was sort of providing a little bit. Mike was sort of in and out of a few things, a few bars here and there. But, you know, Mike was Mike, I was in love.
Yeah.
And then he said, we ought to find somewhere to live. And somebody told them, right in this area, it's mad, miles out. I think it's called Langata, when there's nothing.
This is now what? This is early 80s.
Yeah. Yes, this is 78, 1978.
By the way, had Moi become president by
Yes.
this time?
I think Kenyatta died in
78, August 78.
So he became president, yes.
So, but Mike was quitting his job when Moi was still
I think he quit his job in 79.
vice president.
Yeah.
He quit when the president was the president.
Yes, yeah.
All right then.
I may be slightly wrong. He maybe
Yeah.
quit when he was vice president.
Yeah.
No, I can't. He can't have been. He had been president. Yeah. The company, he was going in a different direction, Mike felt, and I agreed with him.
Yeah.
So that was good. Anyhow, we went out for miles and miles into Langata, which was near Karen area, and the guy had told us there's this great big plot of land that's for sale.
It was a bush by this time.
Oh, a complete bush. It was a complete bush. There was no road, no electricity, nothing. We got to the end of a tarmac. We said to this woman, we're looking for this particular place. Any idea? She said, oh, it's down there, and showed us down there. Right in the bush. So there were 2 rondavels, round buildings, which were derelict. So I thought they must be, people living there or something, but no, nothing, derelict. So Mike said, that's it. It's 52 acres. We'll take that on, we'll buy it, and we'll build our house. Okay, Mike. No consideration how we're going to get the money or buy it from. He then found out who was the owner. He wrote to him via a legal company, Hamilton, Harrison, Matthews, and said, I'm interested in buying your 52 acres. And he wrote back after a while and said, yes, provided the conditions are right, I'm happy to sell it.
This guy is in the States now because he's been deported.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And then the fight began because the people who wanted to bring Rothschild giraffes into that area because they're being slaughtered outside started the giraffe manor, and they said, the American, we want that 52 acres. So they wrote to this guy in America and said, we would like to buy it, and we can pay in dollars as opposed to shillings, which he can pay. Well, he obviously couldn't pay anyway. And it was beneficiary for this US ambassador to actually give it to a charity for his tax purposes over there. So he said, fine. And then the fight began. It went on for about 6 years. So we ended up with 20 acres. They ended up with the rest and given 5 to the lawyer and 5 to whatever. So it all worked out at the end. Meanwhile, though, we had built our house.
While this fight is ongoing?
Yes, basically we're squatters, unbeknown to me because I believed in Mike. So we believed we had this little house which just for £2,000, we put a roof on. We slept in one of the bedrooms, the rondavel, but we had a farm down there, so the pigs slept in the other one. That's before the children were born. So it went on and on and on, and 48 years later, I'm still in that house.
What?
Still in that house. We managed to get...
Well, first of all, it doesn't look like the ronda. The ronda was those mabati, the ones that are
Well, no,
metal.
they mud and wattle. They built a mud and wattle. We found out, in fact, they were game ranger posts, because in those days it was just bush. So they were stopping the wild game coming into that area, and they were eating all the crops which had been grown for the Nairobi orphanage. So they wanted to stop the crops being eaten, so the crops could be given to the Nairobi orphanage.
And this area now, Heather, is hardy.
It's effectively hardy.
It's hardy, the hardy area, which is a very beautiful, exclusive neighborhood,
Yes.
south of Karen.
Yes,
Wow.
it is. So we got water there, we got electricity there, we got a telephone there.
So you moved into this house, you built this house,
Oh,
there
yeah.
was no water, there was no elec.
No.
Where were you getting water from?
The Impagathi River. Mike had an old Land Rover which put a trailer on. I used to have to drive it down there, put it into drums, into the trailer, like that, and then take it home. But I used to go into Hotel Secretaries every day with a water container, and my messenger got it out, filled with proper water, this is our drinking water, and put it back in the car. So that was our drinking water. Didn't have electricity, so we had a generator down at the river, which between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night, they turned on. And we had a deep freeze, which was used as our fridge, which just survived till the next day.
Weren't you scared living out in this? Because now that was out in the sticks.
Oh, absolutely, out in the sticks. Yeah, the security wasn't brilliant. It really, really wasn't brilliant. But Mike cut down some bushes and built a boma around the house. What on earth is a boma, I said. It's a whole lot of sticks that go around the house, stop the lions coming in. I said, that's good. Excellent.
So I guess because you had lions marauding around there, crime wasn't an issue because no thugs are going to come when there are lions marauding.
No, crime was an issue. Crimes was those days, 90s, 70s, 80s, when people broke into houses.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was an issue. But Mike had 2 guns, which he was licensed with. One was a pistol and one was a shotgun. And every night of our lives, he got them out of the safe, put them by the mantelpiece, and they sat there at 6:30 at night. Closed the windows, closed the curtains, and that's it. And then we went to bed at 9 o'clock, and they went by our bedside at night.
So did your parents ever come to...
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, my mother died when I was 11.
Oh,
Now, this may have influenced my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I was a bit unsettled. My father and I never got on very well, and she was my rock. So she died. Anyhow, he came out with stepmother. They came out and we had a holiday down at the coast, and it was okay. It was okay. Wasn't going to stay with us, obviously. Stayed in Mathega. And then he died when I was 20, died in 19, I was 20, 25. No, I just met Mike, so 28. And so she came out here that year on holiday as well. And that was it, really, yeah.
So then other than your siblings, you essentially cut your ties with England and settled in Kenya.
I mean, my friends we still kept in touch with by letter.
Yes.
It took a long time to get them back again. But cut ties with, because, you follow your nose, you're in love, and you do what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah. So hot sex grows and grows. You've built your house you're settled now, okay? You're one of the original Karen crowd, right?
Yeah.
Hot sex grows and grows. Then you shift to...
Well, then I've all this time I've got these children. I've had 3 children. Well, I've had, 3 children now. And then somebody comes to me and says, I've got a company called Kenya Villas, which is like a self-catering holiday home. Would you like to buy it as a business? I said, yeah, sure. This was in Hotel Secretaries' offices in town. Because it gelled well with everything we were doing.
What did Kenya Villas do?
It's like Langata Link holiday homes,
Mhm.
self-catering houses for holidays, for homes.
But
you
that
know.
was before self-catering was a thing.
Yes, no, it wasn't really. It wasn't really because
People
she
were
was,
starting
yeah,
to
people
do that.
begin to do that. It's cheaper than going to hotels.
Okay.
You know, you can go as a family. And then I lost a whole lot of clients who lived out in Karen. They said, I can't come to town to do all this messenger service and do things. It's too far. So I realised at that stage we should be thinking about expanding. So in those days at the Karen Shopping Centre there was a restaurant called Horseman. I probably don't know it. And Rolf Schmidt, who ran the Horseman, owned it. There was a little area. I said, if we built a small little office and we called it Karen Connection, would that be okay? He said, yeah, sure. So Mike built this small little office, upon which we had this amazing newfangled idea. It's called a fax machine.
Now we've upgraded from telex.
We haven't upgraded. We've kept that on just in
The
case.
telex is in town.
The telex is in town.
Yes.
But we also had a fax machine in town. So we opened up another one in Karen, and that became Karen Connection. So now that was all fine. There was no thought of selling or anything. And Mike became very ill. He got malaria. He was building a lodge up in Samburu. He got malaria. And they found him down at the river trying to drink the water there because he was so far gone. So they flew him out and they got him home. Took him to the doctor. They said, you just have to treat him at home. So at that stage, I had my 3 companies. He had started a safari company, which was going well. Now he found his niche. It was going well. This lodge up in Samburu camp, and another one he was building in Naivasha. So I had all that as well as mine, and 3 children to take to school. So I all night long I thought, can't do it. So I said, I'll sell mine. So I approached a friend of mine, and I said, you had shown interest. Would you like to buy them? But you've only got 24 hours to make a decision because that's how I work. She came back and said, yeah, I'll buy your 3.
So this is now Hot Sex,
Karen
Connections,
and Kenya Villas.
And Kenya Villas. Mm-hmm.
And so they took over that whole thing. They bought everything. And I then went to help Mike.
And how do you even arrive at a price for this?
The accountants, the auditors. It was, what was it worth? You know, I don't know how you arrive at a price, but it's almost willing buyer, willing seller. To be honest, it was that.
So they write you a check, and now you go and take.
There you have proper sales agreement.
Yes, yeah. And you go now take care of Mike.
You go to a check, then you give it to Mike, who then uses it on something else. But there we go.
He's a serial entrepreneur.
He was, yes.
Yeah.
Then I went to help him with his safari business. And I had to then finish off the lodge and camp he was building, which to try and get a rubber water tank up to Samburu was interesting. But, you know, it had to be done.
Yeah.
All built, all fine. He got better. So slowly got better, slowly back to normal. And so that was 1988. And I thought, this is my future. I'll help him out because he needs administrative help. He was very good with people, but he needed administrative help. So I did that until 1991. I thought, no, it's either marriage or working together. So I gave the working together up, and I then thought, now Karen, by this stage...
What do you mean by that? It's either marriage or working together?
You can't work with your husband. You just can't. If I knew he was very good at safaris, and I was very good administrator, but he thought he was both. So I thought, no. And then at that stage, Langata was becoming a little area of its own, although we'd been there. So
what's a road network by now? Because remember when you moved there, it was Kichaka, it was bush. So what's a road network by now?
There was a tarmac road leading from Langata Road down to where the Giraffe Manor is now.
Okay.
But there was nobody on that road. I mean, just nobody. So I thought, I'm sure there's going to be soon. So a friend of mine, I said, we both got children at school, and she's my best friend at that stage. Should we start Langata? Let's call it Langata Link, like Karen Connection, linking with town. So I found this old bungalow in the back of beyond, off Langata Road. Langata South Road. And we found the owner, I rented it, and we started Little Langata Link. And I remember going out and standing on Langata South Road saying, do you think there are going to be any cars? Can you hear? Nope, can't. I'm sure there will be. Will they use us? Because Hardy, people were living in Hardy. So eventually people in Hardy started using us for the messenger service. And
what was the population like in Hardy by this time?
I can't honestly tell you, but the minimum size of plots was 5 acres then.
Yes. So very low population.
Very low population.
KC population.
More
Second
than that.
generation British.
Second generation, yeah. Very much so.
And Langata South Road, so where Langata Link was, is the one that's opposite the KBC,
Yes,
the KBC
right.
masts,
Yeah,
which is now Kenya School of Law or something now.
Was it VOK came KBC Mass, and then
Yes.
next door is this Kenyan School of Law.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it was the sticks kabisa in
Sticks
those days.
completely. Couldn't hear a car. I said, no, I'm sure it'll be fine. So to get to that little bungalow, you had to go down a road and along the road. Because at that stage, somebody had bought the plot in front of us. The whole area had been developed. Somebody bought the acre in front of us, so we could no longer go straight off to Langata South Road. And I said to Mike, we're going to lose business if they can't, so we've got to buy that plot. Well, so a Kikuyu had bought that plot. Have you ever tried to buy off a Kikuyu, Harold?
Just go for it. Let's rip off the Band-Aid. Just say it.
So he just bought it. Why would he want to sell it? So I said, Mike, it doesn't matter. Just, you speak the language, go and buy it. So we managed to get the price. And I thought, excellent. Now, what are we going to do about paying for it? So I said to my sister...
So hold on, you're negotiating for a piece of land. You don't even have the money.
No.
Okay, this is great. Carry on.
You've got to go for it, haven't you?
I'm telling you, go big or go home. Okay.
So I then spoke to my sister, and she and I had money in a trust at home in England. I said, listen, you're getting no interest of your money there. Why don't we, collectively, you and I, lend the money to me to buy this plot? And your interest will be paid higher than you're getting in England, which wasn't difficult. It's about 2% or something. He said, yes, so we did it.
What were plots at that time going for?
We bought it for 6 million shillings for an acre.
So even that was high.
Yeah, it was high.
That was very high.
But it could have been less had we not had to spend a long time negotiating.
Yes.
So
this guy knew what he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had you over a barrel.
Absolutely. But we had to do it.
Yeah.
So I said, Mike, right, build something, because we've given the notice in. You've got 1 month to build an office, because we've given our notice in to this other guy.
This is in early 90s now.
This was 1994.
Yeah, mid-90s.
So he built this wooden office, and it had the main office and 3 little rooms attached to it, the wooden office. Had no toilets, had nothing at all. We had a long drop. Had no water, obviously.
Long drop, which as we know as a latrine.
Yes, indeed. In
You were
Langata.
operating a latrine?
Yeah.
Okay, Heather, carry on.
And
in Hardy, in Karen, in Langata?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
In the mid-90s, sorry, I'm sorry.
And it's difficult for people to understand.
Yes.
It is. So that was it. We moved in. And it's lovely, lovely building. And it's very much made of love as well. Really, it was great. And we had a good time. And then the 2 offices next door, they said, can we rent those offices? And I said, yeah, sure. So we're going back to serviced offices again. You could see where the value is. People came out of town to go to their homes to do their work. But they said, I'm just all alone. I need to interact with people, so I'm going to take an office there. And that's when the idea of starting the main Langata Link office complex began. So we built the offices. We built half of them, and I paid my sister and myself back with the rent incoming, and then
Plus interest.
we got our
Yes,
interest, which
yes.
is higher than it's from England. It's higher, and then
This is from the rentals that you were generating in the office.
we had 6 offices at that stage of these new proper concrete offices.
Yeah.
3 of which the rent went back to paying us back. plus the interest. 3 came to running the place. And then having done that, we said, right, now we can almost complete the quadrangle, which is what we did all over again. And out of that, X now went back to us again. So, and it's all paid for now.
And what services? So first you're doing service offices. Have you started now your messenger services again?
Oh, absolutely. The messenger service was carried through, right the way through from hotel secretaries to Current Connection to Langata Link.
Isn't the person who you sold Current Connections thinking, you're competing now?
No, not in any way, because they bought it for different reasons.
Okay.
They bought it lots of different reasons. So just purely an office block, really. So they weren't worried at all. So that was it, really. That was at that particular stage. We're up and running as a complex. And meanwhile, I had all the children, educating them when they went over to boarding school in England. So that had to be all done as well. But it was, we were only young. I was in my 40s, 50s, so it can be done. Anything can be done when you're young. Yeah.
And you put your back into it. Became really, really successful.
Yeah. But it's worked out well. I'm not sure whether that concept, it probably would work now, but it was very beautifully built as a one story. Very nicely built, and had a garden in the quadrangle, which is still there.
And who's renting the offices? Because again, now we're talking about mid-90s, when everything was happening. Town was still the central business district.
Yes.
We didn't have the commerciality of the Kenyan economy, hadn't been decentralized. Everything was still, all the services were still the banking services, shops. And people were buying and taking up space in Langata. What were they seeing then? Because traffic wasn't a thing then.
It wasn't half as bad as it was, but then, office accommodation was very expensive in town, comparative. They suddenly didn't want to go to government offices, which is why the messenger service got bigger and bigger and bigger and expanded. When we first started Langata Link, I got this wonderful messenger called Simon. And I said to him, Simon, you put on your uniform, it says Langata Link, and you sit in that government office and you do not offer a bribe. And you can sit all day to get that job done. They'll then know from that moment onwards, that's who we are. And that's what he did. So now, the messengers, and there are quite a few of them now, go into town, do absolutely everything. They know that's how it's going to be. So it worked out well.
And they get service.
And they get very good service. Now, it's slightly expanded because the girls in the administration office, which we call it, which is the messenger service, are highly educated, IT orientated. So now as everything's done as we know, on computers, internet, e-citizen, all that stuff is done.
So actually you don't need people to. So now what you do is you help people get their services via e-citizen.
Exactly that.
Okay.
If the document has to be picked up, then the messenger goes down and picks up the document. Okay. So they still don't have to go to town. Our lives have moved so quickly here, from nothing to telex, to fax, this is the example, to this extraordinary thing they took over from fax called email. So it's changed so quickly. And then they have these things no longer gobbled, they're called computers. We had a little, I'm not recording now, we had an Apple. I don't remember the original Apples, they had a little screen this big. And I don't know that name. Anyway, those are computers, wow. And then,
carry on.
In Langata Link, in the original little bungalow we rented, we had to send faxes, but you couldn't send faxes. You had to go through telephone lines, as you probably don't know, but you do. It's telephone line. We had to put the fax machine on in order to get a telephone line. We, on average, waited 20 minutes to get a line from Langata sub office. 20 minutes. So 20 minutes. And suddenly you heard the dial tone, that, yes! And you dialed it in. Please don't go off before you sent it. You managed to sort of send it through. But that's how we couldn't deal in telephones at that stage. You couldn't pick up the phone and call anybody, even on the landline. You just couldn't do it because there were no lines. I'm talking Langata at this stage, Langata Karen.
This is Kenya Post and Telecommunication.
Yep.
So as Langata Link, you had one telephone line,
Yep.
which you used for the fax as well.
Exactly.
For those who have never heard of what a fax is, remind us how a fax worked.
A fax is this wonderful machine. So you type out on your thing called a computer, or you could use a golf ball. You type out a piece of paper.
Golf ball meaning the typewriter.
The typewriter, which has a little ball in the middle. That's why it's called.
You'll be able to take a photo of that thing. Yeah?
Which is why it's called a golf ball. And it didn't go. A typewriter didn't go along like that, and then you type and it fell down its way. It just stayed static, but the golf ball ran. Okay, so you've now got your
Now
piece of
that
paper.
was modern.
Very modern. We've got the hang of that. So now you send that piece of paper which you've printed out. We haven't printed out because it comes through your golf ball like that. You put it in this thing called a fax machine, and then you dial to go to whichever number in England or wherever you're going, even Nairobi, and it goes through. And magic, it appears at the other end.
For the recipient.
For the recipient,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, suddenly, and to this day, fax machines are still allowed as a legal document. You can't, I believe I'm right to say, you can't sign an email as a legal document anymore, but you can send it through a fax machine if you can find a fax machine.
If you can find one.
Which you can't.
Exactly. Now, you moved from fax to emails. Were you still at Langata? Was Langata Link, did it see the birth of modern technology in the form of
Langata
email?
Langata Link in the new offices, the brand new wooden offices. So we had, this thing that somebody said, fax has been overtaken. I said, it may have been, but I'm not going down that line. We're very happy with that, faxes, thank you so much. And then I realised possibly there was a value to email. So then we got onto email, then the computers, and now.
And who are you providing these services to by this time? Because clearly it's lucrative. Who are you providing these services to?
Everybody, everybody in Kenya. People outside Kenya wanted things sent to people in Karen or elsewhere. So they sent it through to us because people didn't have computers in their houses.
Yeah.
So that was it. And then I called them. By that stage, we got some few more lines. We could actually call them. So they come pick it up. And then I charged them for doing the service for them.
Yeah.
Meagre amount, but, bit by bit by bit.
Yeah.
And it really and truly, at that stage in my life, wasn't about money. I don't think it's actually ever been about money. I love meeting people. I love networking. I love interacting. So automatically through the companies, I meet people.
Yeah. And how did you start the holiday side? The holiday homes?
Well, I knew from Kenny Villa's time that it was worthwhile. The people who bought it just dropped it anyhow. Somebody walked into my office at Langata Link and said, first of all, they said, I'd like to buy in Karen Hardy or something, or I'd like to rent. Would you help me? So at that stage, the estate agency side was started. So we became estate agents. Somebody walked in and said, now you can provide services in this area. Do you have any houses that I can rent, up country or at the coast particularly? And then I said, yeah, let's start the holiday home side. So it's just started it.
So it's just within the network, huh?
It was with the network.
So within the KC network or within the bigger...
No, it's a much bigger network at this stage. We were well known now, much bigger network.
In Langata?
In
the Langata Karen...
No, and town.
Okay.
So, I suppose we were actually quite efficient. But also, people said, I want to go to the coast, but I don't want to go to a hotel. So they knew that we had houses at the coast. So that's how it became really popular.
And that's what I'm saying, you were doing Airbnb before Airbnb was a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so these homeowners trusted the Langata Link brand, and so they'd come to you and say, I've got this house, I'm willing for you to vet whichever random stranger is coming to stay in my house.
Correct. And also the same applies to the houses. We didn't take on any old random houses. We wanted to make sure they were fine, and they had the staff to manage them if people went down there, because they had cooks and things like that. So we needed to be right. And also we were at the end of a telephone if anything went wrong, as opposed to Airbnb, which you actually can't get hold of anybody. You just make a booking.
And this is a commission-based business, so
Or
I pay you for this self-catering cottage. You take out your commission and you pay the.
Correct.
Okay, very lucrative business.
It was good, and the house owners were very happy. The people who rented them were very happy. You know, this is a much easier and cheaper form of going down, not just the coast, up country, going to the Mara, anything cheaper.
Yeah.
But nicer for a family.
Yeah.
Family of 6 or 8 could all be together.
Yeah. And then Mike falls sick somewhere.
Then
along the way.
Mike 2000, he got diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis, which is a lung disease. 30 years previously, he'd given up smoking. And that's a real lesson for everybody to know. You can give up smoking, but it's affected your lungs, and to this day, it still happens. There was no known cause. It could have been that. There was no known cure, and it still is the same situation. There is no known cure.
How does it manifest?
I think he was out of breath a little bit. We went to see the doctor here, and she said, I think it's this, but I'm not sure I can diagnose that definitely. Go over to England. So we went over to England and saw the expert there. And he said, you've got pulmonary fibrosis. I'm going to give you 3 months or 6 years, because that's how short or long it could last. So inevitably what we did, we walked straight into a pub and drank. There's nothing else to do, is there? I think he had the first beer out of 10 at that stage, just to say, well, so
like,
what?
you know, you've been handed a lemon, you're like, you know what, when life hands you lemon, make lemon juice. Let's just go to a pub. First, let's understand what's going on.
Yes, exactly. So the doctor there did say there is some very good dawa that you can get from India, which will prolong it, which we got.
Dawa from India?
From India, yes. It's a particular one. To be honest, I was a bit of a haze at this stage. And he survived 6 years.
How old are the kids by this time?
2006, Guy was born 1979, so 25, 23 and 19.
Okay, all right.
But they were obviously younger when he was diagnosed. And he was amazing. He was just amazing at that stage. We were all in denial. I think he knew. Apparently he used to go drinking with the boys on Friday afternoon. He said, you know I'm dying. They said, yeah, Mike, we know that, but you're not, obviously. He said, no, I am. He didn't say it to me. We didn't acknowledge the fact anymore. We just got on. He carried on taking safaris out. He was fine. He actually, before he got diagnosed, that was why he got diagnosed. He went up Mount Kenya with clients, and he had a bit of trouble getting up there. He got up there, but he was determined. So that was probably why we went to the doctor. So he just carried on. And in that 2000 to 2006 time, he had a dream, another dream. He had lots of dreams. And this was, he used to take clients up to Shaba National Reserve, which is near Samburu up at the top. That's where Joy Adamson used to have a camp. And he loved it. He said, we've got to build a camp here. So we got hold of a friend who builds camps and things, and we went into this partnership 50-50. And Mike said, right, are we agreed? Shook hands. Next day he got in his car and went off. And that was it, up to Shaba, sort out security. He was the security boss for Kenya Tourism Federation at this stage. He worked very well with Richard Leakey on security. Anyway, so he went up there and he went to where Joy used to live, Joy Adamson, and we named it Joy's Camp. And the other guy came in, of Stefano Kelly of Kelly and Peacock, and they between them built the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful camp ever, just stunning.
And what was his dream?
Well, that was his last dream.
To build a camp.
We built quite a few camps.
So what was the dream in this final?
Joy's.
Okay, Joy's camp.
Joy's camp.
Okay.
He had a big feeling for Shaba and the north, and the insecurity was dire. So he honestly sorted out the security up there between the Turkana, arguing with Samburu. And so that was opened up in 2005. And 2006. 2006. Go back a bit. 2005, my daughter, she's 23, Gemma, got cancer. And she had a very big lump. It wasn't painful, but she was feeling it when she was lying on the bed. So I took her to the doctor. The doctor said, not sure about this. Had the scan, not sure about this. Went back to the doctor, said, I'm taking this out now. So we really nearly just took out this thing. Out came this kilo mass and an ovary and the fallopian tube all together. And we called it Ethel, this kilo mass. So Gemma was recuperating in hospital, and should we do chemo? The doctor said, yep, I've got it out. I know I've got it out. It's very clear, but it's too big to ignore. So we said to Gemma, let's go down to South Africa where Ben was at university.
Ben's
my last one.
Yeah.
Let's take a sample of Ethel. So we cut a little sample of Ethel, put it in a matchbox to take in the...
You cut it yourself, or you got the lab to cut it?
A lab to cut it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we took a matchbox down to the Pathcare lab down there, which we have Pathcare here, and they confirmed it. It was this particular type of cancer called dysgerminoma. And yes, it's too big of a thing to ignore. So we said to Gemma, would you like to have chemo England, where you at school, home, Nairobi, or South Africa? She said home. So we came back and she started her chemo here.
Mike is on the 6-year bonus that he's been given.
Mike's on the 6-year bonus. He's now the 5 years down the line.
Wow. And you're just thanking God for every year that he lives.
Can't believe it. It's amazing. So, but this did I think affect him. Well, obviously it was his darling daughter.
Yeah.
Affected him very badly, which didn't help his diagnosis get any better. Anyhow, she had the chemo, and she was sitting at home doing it on the veranda, thinking, now what? Because she had no hair, and
How
she
old is
came
Gemma
up.
by
She's
this time?
23.
Yeah.
She came up with this concept of, kikois. They used to have kikois wrapped up. And used to sell them. Why don't I wrap kangas? So she started a little workshop at home, wrapping kangas. And that was the beginning of her creation. She started Kenya Kanga Collection, which is now absolutely huge. Get through this year. She's now done chemo. She's gone through every 6 months, every 3 months, every 2 months. We're completely free now of all cancer. And on July the 18th, 2006, Joy's was finally opened. Mike couldn't get up to it. So we were taken by plane up, I took Gemma up there for the opening, which is, just beautiful. Came down, showed Mike the videos. On August the 17th, he knew, I didn't, he knew time was up. So he got in a car, got his driver, took him out to Nanyuki. No, that's not true. He got his car, got into Wilson, got a plane to Nanyuki. They could not get him off that plane because he had no breath, because, going up there, altitude. Right, yeah. It took an hour to get him off the plane, they did. Got him in the car there, and then he got the driver to drive him to Shaba.
Nanyuki to Shaba is what, about 90 minutes, yeah?
Oh, more than that.
Yeah,
more than that.
Because this is in Samburu now.
This is Samburu.
Yeah.
But then don't forget he was at sea level. I mean, it's not like we're here at 6,000 feet in Nairobi.
Yeah.
So got him up there, and I was planning to go up there by flight to see him for that night. And he rang up and said, please, can you bring an oxygen cylinder, because I'm really out of breath. So I took an oxygen cylinder in the flight, and it's only for the night, because the nights were bad. By the time we got him to bed, which was really quite difficult getting him to bed, he started on the oxygen. By about 2 o'clock, he'd finished that.
Cylinder of oxygen.
Cylinder, yeah. So now he was struggling. And by the morning, I said, right, I'm going to call Gemma. She's going to fly up now with a flying doctor. Now. She said, no. I'll just stay here another night. I'll be fine. He knew. So by 12 o'clock, he was seriously out of breath now. He gave in. He said, right, tell her to fly up. Flying doctor was sitting on the runway waiting because he was so involved with security. They flew up. He went back, sat in bed. I'm not going to believe this, but at that stage, an elephant came round to the side of the tent. I've got the pictures. Looked through the net, saw Mike. It was a big bull elephant, came round to the front of the tent and bowed to him.
Wow.
So that was amazing. So that was, I still can't get over that. I still very affected by it. Anyhow, flying doctor came in, they came with a cylinder, they got him back to a little breathing ability, got him on the plane and had another cylinder on the plane. And I then, because I'd had 2 nights now not sleeping, we came to the hospital, and the doctor said, his heart's so fine, just take him back and take the oxygen cylinder, work on this machine you have at home. And I checked him he had his mask on the whole time, about 1 o'clock, he was fine. And at 3 o'clock I checked again and his mask had come off and he'd gone.
At home, peacefully.
Yeah. We told his previous family to come out, they came out. We had the amazing memorial at home. We set the tables out and
now this is in Hardy.
This is in Hardy.
Yeah.
But before then, we had him cremated, and then we flew up to Shaba. A friend flew us up, the children and myself, with his casket, and we scattered his ashes over the swamp at Joyce Camp. And then we went up to Bowditch Mountain, which is in Samburu, and scattered his ashes there. We got all this on video, obviously, and then came back, and we kept a little bit. So then we had his memorial at home, and we had 300 people came to it. And just before then, we dug a hole, we put his ashes in the hole, and a bottle of Tusker, a bottle of Guinness, a bottle of whiskey, poured the whole lot in and put the bottles in. And it's growing beautifully.
Oh, there's a tree there.
Oh yeah, it's a fig tree. It's really growing. So
must be the Tusker.
Whatever. He liked the Tusker and the Guinness together. So that was it. And then I was suddenly left with the companies. We had a hotel down at the coast. We had Joy's Camp. We had Langata, we had his safari company, and I was grieving. I thought, this is a little bit too heavy for me. I have a wonderful friend here. I absolutely won't say, because he'd be laughing his head off. Yeah, that's it. Roger Sylvester. You know Roger?
No.
Laughing hyena. He was he was absolutely wonderful. I said, right, I've got to sort this out. Between us, we sold my 50% shares in Joy's. We sold the hotel down at the coast, and obviously people were trying to get the best of me at this stage, and so he protected me right the way through. And then, and the safari company, my eldest took over, Guy, and he bought it. But
Guy bought the business.
He bought Westminster Safaris. However, Guy is not a safari person. He's a big safari person, but he doesn't like people so much. He's very technical. He's very much an engineer. And he said, I've taken out safari, but that is the last safari I'm ever taking out, because that was American. So we went. That was it. So I said, right. Ben was too young. He couldn't take it over. So he started selling it off. He then used a lot of the equipment and built Nairobi tented camp in Nairobi Park. And then I was driving down to the coast, and I said to Gemma, I can't do it all. You worked in the estate agency for me. Buy Langata Link and everything. She said, yeah, what with? I said, well, I'm not giving any of it to all of you, because you've got to buy it for your own self-esteem. And apart from that, I was only 56. I needed a bit of income for the future. The income you're getting from the Langata offices, you can make it in 12 years if you give me X per month. So we went to our accountant, we agreed a price, and that's what happened. It took her 14 years eventually, but her husband, she then married her husband. We had a massive wedding at home again, so it was lovely. And he joined her, and he does all the real estate now, all sorts of things. And they bought it, they paid it off.
Heather, explain to me like I'm a 2-year-old. You know, us, we're used to sitting and waiting for our parents to bequeath us the businesses. You know, you sold the safari business to Guy, you sold Langata Link to Gemma and her husband, Neil. Why not bequeath it?
I'm not sure I was thinking anything at that particular moment apart from, oh, how am I going to survive?
Because you want to continue your lifestyle as you're accustomed to.
Yeah.
You've built a business, don't want to run it, but want to get the benefit, yield the dividend.
I think that was probably the back of it, but also I knew I had to graft. We both had to graft, Mike and I, to get where we got.
Yeah.
And so they've got to. I cannot allow anybody just to take over a business and just, it might go to rack and ruin. And what was that all for? So by making her buy it, and making Guy buy it, I think at the back of my mind thought that was going to be secured.
And your children were okay with that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, wouldn't you be really? You did. It's not like you have to go and find that money every month. It was coming in as an income.
I see.
And it's up to them now to make it bigger, more worthwhile. There are two of them in it together.
So do you think because now they have more skin in the game, they're able to then grow that business, because it's only by growing the business that A, they can repay you, but B, now start to get the benefits of the business.
Their mark on it, yes. I was kept on as chairman for, I think, 3 years, and they made some decisions which I totally disagreed with. And I said it at the time. And one of them, they were going to disband the messenger service because it doesn't make money. I said it's probably because it's being taken off the top or something. Keep it. It is part of the business. Not only do they keep it, but it is now a very much integral part of the business. And Guy, he did his own thing, and it worked well for him. He bought it, but he then started disbanding. He sold the cars. He started selling bits and pieces off, and he went into his own thing, which he needed to go into, which was good. And I'm sorry, at that stage, Ben was too young, but he was too young to take it on.
Yeah.
And that's made them what they are. They could have just been handed the business, and they think, that's easy. No, they needed to do that. Yeah. And on the back of that, Langata Link has just expanded, and Gemma's creational spirit has taken over. Kenya Kanga, she thought, where am I going to sell this stuff? And the office next door, the house next door came up for sale. He said, I think I'm going to do this and start selling other stuff. Would you help? I said, no, I won't help you. You're going to go and do it yourself now. So they got a mortgage, and that's what's now created Langata Link shops.
Is it still on Langata South Road?
Yeah.
Because there was a Langata Link at the corner or near the deputy president's in Karen. Or this is the one at...
That was Karen Connection.
Oh, that was Karen Connection, the one that was in that shopping
So
mall.
then the people who bought those off me left the country.
Okay.
Then another guy came to me and said, you've built Langata Link, this is another thing, another Langata Link office complex. I'm thinking of building one in Karen. Would you manage it for me? Because we're managing other things. I said, yes, I will. He said, well, what should we call it? I said, well, Karen Connection's disbanded now. So why don't we just call it Karen Connection? Because I still actually have the name. So that's what Karen Connection is. Okay. I don't own it or anything, but I managed it for a long time.
All right. And then Gemma and Neil opened the Nanyuki one.
Oh, then they expanded.
Yeah.
They were opened with Tamu, Diani, Mombasa, Nanyuki. Wow. They, a few mistakes were made down the line. Yeah.
But their model is take a place, do serviced offices. And
no, not that. That's not their model now.
What's the model now?
The model now is they've got an agent in each place, each of these venues, and they are the estate agents. Okay. They work on a very small salary, but on a commission basis.
And a little shop, because when I went to the one in Nanyuki, I'm seeing there's the
That's
Kenyan
one
culture.
stop.
Yeah.
That's one
Yes,
stop.
yeah,
Yes, that's
yeah.
opposite the airstrip.
Yeah.
Yes, so she's taken space in there.
Yeah.
That doesn't own it. It's space
Okay.
purely for the shop business.
Yes. And
Yeah.
messengerial, because I saw they're also offering people, if people needed services at Nyayo House.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, oh, I didn't know this is a thing.
So that's then sent down to main office,
Yeah,
Langata Link.
yeah.
Then they do it all there and then send it back again by
Must be
Wells
proud.
Fargo.
The business has grown.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm very proud. Very proud. Yep.
Right.
But you see, by that time, that was 3 years down the line, I got rid of the businesses, I got the companies, and I thought, I'm still so young. I'm 59. What am I going to do with myself? And at that stage, there were quite a few widows in the area, we're talking about 70 years plus, and they all put on their, quote, blue cardigans and became widows. I thought, I am not going to
Is that
do
a euphemism
Yes.
for I'm just going to just roll over and play dead?
exactly that.
Yeah.
My husband died, so I'll just carry on. I thought, I'm not that person. I mean, it was never that person, never going to be that person. So I thought about it carefully, and at that stage I was on a schoolgirl thing called Friends Reunited. And actually, they wrote to me, they write to everybody over the age, and they said, we're starting a thing called Friends Over 50. Would you like to join? I think it's probably in competition to Facebook, but I don't know.
And who was this? Who are these now? These are...
It's international, Friends Reunited. It's in English. I think it's basically English.
Yeah.
British, I don't know.
And so an old school friend from the UK invited you to join?
No, Friends Reunited did. I've been on that site ever since sites came in our lives. And so I said, yeah. And I ticked boxes, male, female. I need to get out. There's no ways I could meet anybody or anything new. I was stuck in Langata, Hardy, Karen, my little life is perfect. But at that stage also, I became very involved with Karen Club. This is where I met you.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I said, I'll meet anybody. I ticked all the boxes. I said, if it's going to be a man I'm going to meet, wherever it is, Pakistan, Australia, England, whatever, it's got to be over 6 foot. Not him.
So by this time now you're open. Heather is open for business.
I'm open. I wasn't that open, but I was definitely ready to expand my thoughts because I didn't have the worry anymore. I had the money coming in.
Yes.
I had everything sorted out. Everything was in a square box.
Do you need your children's blessing by this time to sort of reopen the love box?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No. Not at that time. They then wrote back to me and they said, they didn't actually, I had a wink because I sent it in.
This is modern day Tinder.
Oh,
it was a wink. A wink means, hey, I see you.
But it wasn't from anybody, it was from them, friends over 50, from a guy. And he vice versa did to me. And I was...
So a guy sees your profile. No, let's go slowly on this. We need to understand how Friends Reunited worked back in the day. Because this was before Tinder was Tinder.
I think it was the first person ever at the age of 50 that's gone on a site like that. But I'm slightly on my own anyway. So this friends over 50 said, this guy has winked you, and he is 6 years older. His wife has just died, last year. He's over 6 foot. But the reason I'm telling you this, they effectively said, is that you're from East Africa, and he's ex-South African. He lives in Scotland, but he is ex-South African. For 55 years of his life, he was South African. So, got a connection. Spouses have died, Africa, some took.
So this is a human now talking to you and saying, by the way, there's a guy here who...
Slightly human. It's through him. It was him actually that came. It was a triangle.
Okay.
It was a triangle. So I wrote back and said, "Hi." We had pseudonyms at this stage. We went to say I'm like Heather, or I'm that person. This is my story.
So what was your name? Hot sex.
Feach.
What's that?
Feach.
Feach. Like a peach with an F.
So when Gemma was 15, she was badly behaved girl. And she used to drink a lot, and she used to come home and Oh, her mother was badly behaved as well. That was me. So we used to dance around like idiots around the house. And she said, "You look just like a tart." I said, "Thank you." She said, "I'm going to call you Tart Features." And it ended up as Feach. And that was it. So that's my nickname, Feach. So anyhow, so Feach. And I got this guy called...
But is your photo there?
My photo's there. It's a rather nice photo.
So you had, of course, you put your best foot forward. Yes, you've got a very nice photo, but the name is Feach. Feach from East Africa.
Feach from East Africa.
Okay.
And this is who I am, my age, my or the profile.
So have you put your real age?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yes.
right.
I never deny that. So this person came back and said, "My name's Slavan." Slavan, it's some South African name or something. And this is my story. And so we started talking on email.
Yes.
And we just talked about our own stories. And then I said, actually, this is 3 days later. I'm actually off to England tomorrow. He's living north of Scotland because my daughter's going to have a baby and we're going to buy baby clothes. So give me a ring when you're there. He said, "Fine, good." So I went over there and he said, "No, apparently," he said, "No, I can't do that. I just can't give her, I just can't."
He chickened out.
What?
He chickened out.
He chickened out. But the lady who was working with him said, "Get on that phone." So he rang.
Now you're at the hotel or wherever it is.
No, I was actually in Oxford Street buying shoes with my best friend and Gemma, and he rang.
Oh, I'm forgetting, we have mobile phones
We have
now.
mobiles.
What year is this now? 2000 and... I forget, I'm still on telex and fax, sorry.
2009.
Yes.
2009. And he says, we talk. I thought, not bad, not at all bad. Nice voice. And we chat and everything else. He said, "You know, an hour." And Gemma was saying, "Get off the phone. We've got to buy some shoes." I said, I can't.
Gemma's not realizing Mom is getting her groove on here,
no,
man.
absolutely. And my best friend was getting really cross with me. Anyhow, so he said, "Would you come up and see? Would come and see me in north of Inverness, like, you know, 3 hours from the North Pole." I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I'll just
Inverness, Scotland.
Is it Inverness, Scotland, right
Yes,
at the top
yes.
of Scotland?" And I said to, "Yes, we will. I will." So I said to Gemma and my best friend, I said, "Right, I'm going to go up and see him." So I said, "No, but you can come down to London." So he came down to London. By that time, Gemma had come back to Kenya. And we met, and he had this great big beard and a huge nose. I thought, bloody hell, this is not so ideal. Anyhow, he stayed in the flat, perfectly, totally fine. Perfectly, didn't hold hands, nothing. We walked around London for 3 days. We saw shows, we saw this, and we got on really well, really,
How
really
is it
well.
to start dating again now? You're in your 60s.
I was not. I was 59.
Okay, fine. Same difference.
Heavens above. How do I start dating? Well, I think I was ready.
Okay.
And so, all good. And we sat right there, and he said, "I've got to go back home now, to north of Inverness. Where do we go from now?" So I honestly don't know. There's too much to discuss. He said, "Okay, well, anyhow," so I took him to the lift and said goodbye, and he gave me the biggest slobbery kiss ever. And then he got into he said, "No." So he gave me one more and came back. Then went off the lift and got home.
So, I mean, but you must be excited. You've got this little
Oh,
frisson of
now the
excitement.
hormones are really
Raging.
well on their way. Well on their way. So he rang up that night and said, "What happened there?" And I said, "I don't know. And I think something quite important happened there." And so I then came back to Kenya, and I thought, what we talked. Now we're talking on the phone properly. And actually, right. So then I said, "I'm coming back."
Back to England.
Back to England. Back to England. Back to Scotland, which I did 2 weeks later.
Have you told your kids what's going on by this time?
Yeah, I have. But,
Okay.
you know, they just know me. They said, it'll just be, it'll pass by. It's not really important.
You do realize this is like your old boyfriend in London who was like who was talking about Mike at the time as a passing cloud. It's now your kids who are like, it's a passing
They
cloud.
should have known me better, shouldn't they? So that was, we got on really, really well. So we're very happy with that. We come actually back via the flat we're staying in Notting Hill. And at that stage, I was about to climb Kilimanjaro. So I had to go, it was 11 stories up, so we go up, down, up, down, up, down, try and get fit. Poor Philip had to go up, down, get fit. Anyhow, that's a...
So hold on, we've now discovered that Slobodan is what is his nickname?
Slavan.
Slavan is Philip.
Philip. Yep. And so we get, I come back one more time. He lets out his house up in Inverness. He says, right, I'm going to come over for 2 months to Kenya. Very happy to be thinking about Africa again. And there was no way that I was going to live in north of Scotland. So he comes over here to see how he gets on with the family. My life was very busy at that stage because I was very involved with Carrying Club, as we know. And yeah, it worked.
Okay. So Heather, this is really interesting because you're from Kent, you're from the UK, and you meet Philip, he's living in Scotland, and you're like, there's no way in hell I can move to the UK. What does Kenya mean to you by this time?
Kenya's home. Kenya's completely home. I mean, on a selfish level, my children are here, my companies, everything, it is my home. If Philip was living in a massive estate with deers and all sorts of things, I would probably have thought about it. But he was very, very happy to come back to Africa. So there was really, that was his trial, that 2 months, to find out if he could cope with my part of Africa, and was he able to handle it, more specifically the children. And yeah, it worked. He said yes. So he went back to sell the house and came back here permanently. Very much like I did actually with Mike.
That's right.
Just like a sort of deja vu.
That's right.
Children were trouble. 2 out of 3 were quite good. One was just diabolical, refused to speak to him, refused to meet him, was really extremely rude about him. Not that about him as a person, because he is completely opposite to Mike. He was a quiet, unassuming, very, very introverted person, which is completely opposite to Mike. So there's no competing in any way. But I understood where they were coming from a little bit. But anyhow, it all worked out. Yeah,
eventually.
Eventually. And then we were down in Cape Town for that New Year, and we were sitting at the waterfront, and it's blue moon. He said,
what's blue moon?
Blue moon is a special type of moon, very rare. And he said, would you marry me one day? And I said, yeah, tomorrow, in Heather form. Anyhow, that was it. We got engaged, and then the next year we got married at home in the garden.
The next year?
The next year. Well, that was January the 1st.
Yes.
So it's in June. Actually, it's coming up to our 15th wedding anniversary this week. Wow. Yeah.
So you've been lucky in love.
Very lucky in love. Very lucky. I think it's being positive, and just, the stars were aligned both times. Yeah.
Heather, we were doing our research about you, and this is sort of going back to that whole, you're 100% Kenyan now. You've taken on Kenyan citizenship. And we found a picture that was taken by the media in 2013 when you were standing in line, the 2013 Kenyan election. And you told the reporter, I've waited 36 years to vote in the country of my choice, and it's very exciting to do so. Why is this important to you?
Well, the Constitution did not allow, if I gave up my British thing, I had become Kenyan, I would have lost my British passport. And there's no ways I wanted to do that. So the Constitution changed after Mike died, actually. When did the Constitution change? 2006, 2007?
2010. It was promulgated in 2010, okay. August 2010.
That was it's fine, okay. Which allowed dual citizenship. And as a widow, I had an automatic right for it. So I applied and got it almost straight away. So that was fantastic. So that was 3 years before you found me on the internet.
On the internet, voting in line.
Yeah.
So you feel vested in, as a former business owner, as a resident, and now a citizen of this country, that, your vote counts?
I'm not sure any vote counts.
Nah.
But I am definitely a Kenyan citizen. I've got dual, and it's purely for reasons of ease. But I mean, this is my country of choice. I've been here far, far too long, and I would never, unless we were all thrown out or something drastic happened, this is it, I'm here.
Yeah.
My children here, all my grandchildren are all dual citizenship, we're all British and Kenyan.
Yeah.
So it works out very well, and they're completely Kenyan. So yeah.
So you will be buried here.
I will be buried here. I will be cremated here, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've chosen a place where the ashes are going to be taken in my garden. Yeah, no, definitely. We have a little bolt hold over there, which is a 15th century cottage, a medieval village, which we go to in the summer.
Where is this, in Scotland?
No, in England. In England, actually, on Suffolk Essex border, but it's very close where my sister lives, which gives you the diverse extremes. So it's lovely going over there in the summer, because we're leaving here July, August, winterish, and then you think, time to come back to Kenya. But it's good to make you appreciate both sides. So that works really well. How long that's going to continue, I don't know. But you know, at the moment, we've had it since 2015.
Yeah.
Works out really well.
Yeah. No regrets?
None. Yes. In my life, I have two regrets. One is, unfortunately, I was so young when Mike died, and I had to do the businesses as I did. I was very young to be giving up my companies. I couldn't change it now, I wouldn't. But it would be nice still to have something to get up for business-wise, and my head is still definitely there. My brain's up there. There was another regret. I can't remember what it was. Oh yes, you're going to laugh. When I was looking through photo albums to find photos for assist all this, I had photo albums. I regret the digital era, that we used to just take photos that was important, and then have them developed and put them in albums. Now we just take hundreds of photos and they just sort of stay there, and then they get deleted and everything else. I regret that, but not my problem.
Do you print photos today?
No. Which I should. But it's very difficult. You've got 8 photos of one particular scene.
That's right. I know, it's a sorting.
Yes, it's a sorting. It's boring, yeah.
As a closing shot, Heather, one of the quotes you told us was, as long as you laugh and joke through life, it's all good. You've lived an amazing, full, and very colorful life. What Heatherisms about life, love, friendship, and business do you want to leave us with?
I don't think it's on purpose, but I have an incredibly, I think, very positive attitude. The glass is always half full, it's never half empty. And as you get older, I bin negative thoughts and negative people. If I'm in a situation where you've got negative people, I'm just not going to waste my time on that, because it's really not my problem, it's theirs. And I think that's the thing that Philip's taught me. We've had 15 incredible years. We've done so much together. We've done so many as far as we built houses, which we rent out, and all sorts of things. We've done so much. He always says, when I said, you know that person, he said, it's not your problem. He's taught me that. Because I'm who I am, and we are all who we are. We shouldn't be brought down by anything else.
So somebody's negative energy, that's their negative energy. It shouldn't impact you. It takes a lot of maturity and peace and self-awareness to get to that level.
Yes, and I think because I'm very lucky where I am with Philip, very lucky that I am able to go back. One of the reasons I wanted to find somebody else was, you can't say to your friends or your family, I saw a rabbit cross the road. They don't care 2 hoots if a rabbit crossed the road. But you can say it to your partner. It's irrelevant, but it's just the little things in life. I go on about stupid things. I'm not sure, he's quite deaf now. I'm not quite sure he hears it all. But you need to say something like that to people. You know, it's irrelevant, but it's the little things in life which make it all worthwhile.
Companionship.
Companionship's huge, huge. And I feel really sad for people who don't have that as they get older.
Yeah.
When they're younger, they have a chance to meet other people. But when they're older, particularly here, it's quite difficult meeting people, because generally, this is a general rule, men die before women.
Yeah.
and women are left with very little choice out there.
Yeah.
And I always believe it's because men don't talk like we do. Out it comes emotions. Out it comes. Whereas men say, hold it myself, hold it myself. I think the stress gets them eventually.
Yeah.
Or perhaps we get them, I don't know.
But you put yourself out there, Heather, both you and Philip, by putting yourselves on this website. You know, you did online dating before online dating was a thing. So there's a lot to be said for that. You were both in the state of mind of let's just explore, let's see what's out there. And that's a key takeaway to us.
It is a key takeaway.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah, I mean, so many dating. This wasn't a dating site, in fact, his friends thing, but so many people have been on dating sites, young and old, and have failed on the first 10 or whatever it is. They said, no more. And that was unlucky. Again, go back to luck. I was really, really lucky.
Yeah, you know, really they say lucky. Success is where luck meets preparation. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So Heather, you said something interesting, which is women live longer than men, you know, especially as they get older. What kept you going? You know, so you've sold the businesses, you've remarried Philip now. What kept you going mentally, kept your mental acuity high?
As Mike died, I was on the balloting. No, I was balloting on Karen Club. And every Thursday of my life, I had to go there and meet the new members.
This is Karen Country Club?
This is Karen Country Club.
Okay.
And then I think I was also director for 10 years. That gave me a purpose. That gave me doing something for other people of the community. It wasn't just me having enjoyment. And then the projects that I had to do within it, they asked me to build residences, the apartments, the cottages, do renovation. That gave me the purpose to keep going. It wasn't all about me trying to find a new person. That really kept me going. And certainly when Mike was dying for the last year of his death, of his life, I was on the board. Yeah. So I had to go to these meetings, and had to be, because I wanted to. You know, it's just an outlet for me as well.
And you ended up being recognized by Karen for your contribution to that, because the residences have become a significant revenue earner and have placed Karen on the hospitality map. And
I think, according to the AGM, about the best income earner there is. So that and a few other projects, like I was club director. So all sorts of things we did. So I got recognised as the honorary life member.
Yeah.
But also that's very good. That's just another sort of bow in my life.
Very creative, Heather. You've got a creative element that you always seem to find an outlet for, whether it's in the form of the business side and now in your post-employment life.
Yes.
In Karen.
Well, I think the secret of, provided your health is okay, the secret of long life is both physical and mental. It's all very well doing sport or doing walks or doing whatever you're doing. You've got to keep your mental ability going. You can't just let it die, because that'll bring you down. So it's not like I go out and try and say, oh, what can I do now? It is how it is. Yeah. And if you've got that mind, don't waste it.
Yeah. Thank you. Great. Heather, you've been a fantastic guest. And before we close, we have a last segment we didn't tell you about because we want it to be a surprise in terms of your answers. So we call it nitpicks on the quick.
Okay.
So tell us the answer that comes immediately to you. I'm getting a sense that we might have to edit out some of these answers, but we'll give it our best shot given who Heather is. Give it your best shot. Say what comes to mind first,
right.
Okay? All right. Early riser or sleep in on weekends?
Early riser.
Text or phone call?
Phone call.
Cooking a meal or ordering takeout?
Half and half.
What does that mean?
Okay. No, cooking a meal.
What do you like to cook?
No, cooking a meal.
What do you like to cook?
Or anything really. I'm not the best person in the kitchen. I used to enjoy it more than I do now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have very, very healthy food, salads for lunch, which we both share making. And soups in the evening and things. But yeah.
Okay. Mountains or the beach?
Oh, mountains.
Travel back in time or fast forward your life?
Fast forward.
To when?
To where?
To when?
To
When
when?
do you think? Yeah.
I think probably dealing next 5 years.
Okay.
Next 5 years. You know, Philip's now 80. Although he looks about 70. 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't thought that you've just had the back chat. So put that into history books.
What's your favorite Kenyan dish?
Crikey. Chips, but probably not.
Chips are not. Chips
No, I know,
are so British.
I know. Give me a Kenyan dish I should choose.
Nyama choma, ugali,
Nyama choma. Yes, absolutely.
You have to think about that for a
No,
while.
I did. I was just thinking about ugali. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
But
nyama choma?
Yeah, that's good.
Goat, beef, which one?
Beef.
Okay. One thing you always carry with you.
Oh God, this is so boring. My phone.
Okay. It's pretty much the standard stock answer we get from anyone sitting across.
Our whole lives is on my phone. Every part of it is phone.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
For somebody who used a telex.
That was latterly.
You know.
I used to use the manual typewriter. Yeah.
What's your go-to stress reliever when you just want to chill out?
I think sport. I still play a lot of sport.
You do tennis.
I do tennis, do paddle, do golf, do a lot. Do paddle 2 or 3 times a week.
What's the difference between paddle tennis and regular tennis?
Paddle is a mixture between squash and tennis. It's a smaller court. It's faster. It's more gregarious. So you've got 4 of you playing the whole time and you're close and you can there. Yeah. But tennis is the ultimate sport. You know, I played a lot of tennis in my life.
Okay.
I was tennis captain at the club, so I really enjoy tennis.
So you keep very fit. You look fantastic for your age.
Thank
and
you.
I won't say what your age is.
Sure, you can work that out by the interview.
Absolutely. What's the most inspiring place you visited, Heather?
Inspiring. I'm trying to work between Kenya and England because I've been around all over the world and I can't say I'm inspired that I want to go back there again. So that doesn't really... It's somewhere in Kenya, I think, maybe. And because my mind is so on it, I've just come back from Meru yesterday.
Okay.
So Meru, the bush in Kenya. I can only put it generally.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
And you were saying you do a lot of bush safaris.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we really enjoy that.
Okay.
Really enjoy it.
Last question. Read the book or watch the movie?
Read a book. Read a book, provided it's on my Kindle. And they're absolutely ghastly airport books. Bad behaviour. I know.
Which are the airport books? The romance,
Yes,
chick lit.
Penny Vincenzi, Daniel Steele. I mean, really fictional. But hey, it keeps you amused.
It keeps you entertained.
It keeps me entertained.
For somebody who used a telex, I still can't get over that.
Yes.
You really are an electronics buff.
Yeah.
Is that interesting?
Well, I think you have to, don't you?
Yeah.
You have to, and also, forget my grandchildren now on their own phones.
Yeah.
So definitely, they call me and say, right, I'm coming down to see you. And so I have to have my phone. And, every bill we ever have, because we've got 3 other houses on the plot. So we have tenants and all those bills. Everything gets paid on the phone. Yeah. So, yes, I'd be very upset. I could feel my blood pressure go up if I think, oh, where's my phone?
Heather, you've been a fantastic guest.
Thank you, Carol. Very much for asking me.
Fantastic conversation.
It's really nice of you to ask me. Thank you.
Great. If Heather were an electronic, she'd be a cross between an IBM Selectric typewriter, sure and steady, and a yet-to-be-released iPhone, fast, with a vault of experience and razor-sharp instincts. She's given us a secret sauce for a well-lived life in all the forms that life presents. Heather's been lucky in love, learned from grief, listened to her intuition, and she's not yet done. Heather has taught us that it's not where you're from that matters, but where you choose to go, what you choose to build, and your attitude toward it all. How can you do tomorrow quickly? Thanks for watching the Nitpicker podcast. where we hear interesting stories told by interesting people doing interesting things.